they're doing it, they're not going to listen to us. I said, I'll take care of it. I said, get me Emmanuel Macron, president of France. And he gets on, Emmanuel, how are you? Fine, sir. I'm fine. I said, listen, Emmanuel, I understand you're going to charge American companies for the privilege of doing business in France. Wonderful. He said, you're not going to do that, Emmanuel. Yes, sir, it's too late. We can't stop it, sir. It's getting approved tonight, tomorrow. I said, that's okay, then, Emmanuel, do it. I want you to do it because I am going to tax every bottle of wine and every bottle of champagne that I don't even like that comes into the United States. We're putting 100% tax or tariff on every single bottle of wine and champagne that comes into the United States, and you're not going to sell anything. And that's where we are, Emmanuel. Other than that, have a good time. And I was getting ready to hang up, and he said, no, you cannot do that. I said, I'm doing it. I'm signing the paper tonight at 6 o'clock. This goes into effect on Monday morning. This was a Friday. No, please. May I call you back? I'll call you back in 15 minutes. And I get along with him. But he's a wise guy. I understand that. I get along with a lot of wise guys. But I get along with him. May I call you back in 15 minutes? I'll call you right back. I said, that's all right. I will do that. I'll accept that call. So about 3 minutes later, he calls me back. He didn't wait 15. Mr. President, you have a deal. We're not going to charge you the tax. We're not going to. And I probably did that 100 times with other countries. I did it with Russia. I did it with China. I did it with a lot. China was petrified of the tariffs. I mean, again, hundreds of billions of dollars of tariffs. That's all. And they acted like they didn't mind. We don't mind tariffs. I said, good. Then I'm going to raise them and raise them. And finally, they said, no more tariffs, please. But no, we did that. I did that a lot. And some people call it shtickle. But you got to have that. We don't have that. Could you imagine Biden doing that? Biden doing that. They don't have respect for our country. They don't have respect for our leadership. And those things have to be done. And they're easy. And you don't need bullets. You don't need tanks. You don't need weapons of any kind. You just need some common sense and maybe business ability or whatever it might be. But that stopped. Let me give you the only bad part of that story. The bad part is after I left office, they started charging taxes to our American companies, and other people are doing that too. It's so sad. When I look at what's happening, it's so sad. These people don't have a clue. The only thing they're good at is cheating on elections and disinformation. Two things, cheating on elections and disinformation. They always go, oh, yes, we want to run against Trump. He beat the hell out of us in 2016. He beat us up better in 2020. We want to run against Trump. And the midterms, in the midterms, 233 and 20. Think of that. 233 wins and 20 losses. We're 233 out of 253 races. You don't hear that from the fake news. We were successful. Not all the Republicans were successful, but that's a record that very few people have. And in the primaries, almost 99% of the people I endorsed, they were great people. They were great people, generally speaking. And these two are the two best examples as far as I'm concerned. And standing before you today, I am the only candidate who can make this promise. I will prevent us from being involved in or even having World War III. You're going to have World War III. With these incompetent people, you're going to end up, and this will be a war like no other, because this won't be army tanks going around shooting at each other. This will be horrible, most destructive weapons in history, nuclear weapons and other things. I will end Joe Biden's inflation nightmare and banking crisis and quickly rebuild the greatest economy in history. Unlike the Bushes and Ryans and the other rhinos, I will always protect Social Security and Medicare for our great senior. Gee, I wonder who voted for hurting Social Security, and I wonder who voted for hurting and partially dismantling Medicare. Who is it? I think there's somebody around that you know. When I get back in the Oval Office, I will totally obliterate and complete the job, the deep state, because there is a deep state. We're fighting it right now. I will fire the unelected bureaucrats who have weaponized our justice system and root out the warmongers and globalists from our government. We will establish a Truth and Reconciliation Commission to declassify and publish all documents on deep state spying, censorship, and corruption. You're seeing it come to fore now. Those 51 people, what they did to this country, 51 people willing to lie. And I will require every federal employee to pass a new civil service test demonstrating an understanding of our Constitution. To stop the local Marxist prosecutors who release rapists and murderers while persecuting conservatives, on day one of my new administration, I will direct the DOJ to investigate every radical DA and Attorney General in America for their illegal, racist, in reverse enforcement of the law. I will quickly restore the most secure border in U.S. history, just as we had only a few years ago. Under Biden, if you look at what we had, I built hundreds of miles of wall, and we completed it, just as I said. I took the money from the military because between the Republican rhinos and the Democrats, it was very hard to get. So I considered our country to be in an invasion. We were being invaded. It was absolutely an invasion. And I said, that means I can take the money out of the military. And I got some of the biggest military budget.
Something happened with my feed. It went dead on RSBN.
Biggest military budgets ever.
There we go.
I said, I'm going to take what I need out of the military because this is an invasion. And I got it built. And then I added 200 miles, and we were almost finished when we had that horrible election result, that horrible, disgusting result. And Biden came in and said, we don't want to finish. It would have taken 3 weeks to finish the additional sections of wall that I didn't even promise, but I wanted to get done because we needed them in those areas. But the wall worked, and Mexico worked, and they gave us 28,000 soldiers for free. Of course, I said I was going to charge them 25% tariffs if they don't. But they gave us 28,000 soldiers, and we had the best numbers ever. Under Biden, other countries are emptying out their prisons, insane asylums, and their mental institutions and their prisons are being emptied out. Problems. That's why the first reconciliation bill I sign will be for a massive increase in Border Patrol and colossal increase in the number of ICE deportation officers. And we're going to be following the Eisenhower model. You wouldn't believe it. Eisenhower was tough on this. We will use all necessary state, local, federal, and military resources to carry out the largest domestic deportation operation in American history. And I'll ask every state and federal agency to identify every known suspected gang member in America because they know, look, law enforcement, these are incredible people. They've been treated so badly. They have been, between defunding the police and everything else they have to go through, it's horrible. But they know all the people, the local policemen and women, they know everybody. They know the good people, the bad people. They know the gang members. They know their first names. And every one of them that is here illegally, we will pick them up and we will bring them back to their country. Or, if it's so bad, we're going to have to put them into a cell. But we will bring them right back to those countries from where they came. To uphold our Second Amendment, I will ask Congress to put a bill on my desk delivering national concealed carry reciprocity. And I will restore the right to self-defense with federal penalties for prosecutors who trample on the God-given right. We've been given this incredible right. Can't trample on it. When I return to office, I will revoke China's most favored nation trade status. So you wouldn't believe this stuff. We had it revoked. We had it revoked. We actually send them oil. Can you believe it? We send them oil. We give them oil. We help them. We give them money. The whole thing is crazy. I will gain total independence from China. We have to have independence from China. They have too much power over our country, especially with Biden. He got a fortune. I mean, they pay him a fortune. What the hell is he going to do? How's he going to go against China? They'll say, you go against us, and we're going to tell you all the money that we paid you and your family. They're extorting him, in my opinion. They're extorting him. And I will hold the Chinese Communist Party accountable for unleashing the China virus upon the world. They've got to pay something. Nobody has the money to pay what the real number is, but they've got to pay something. We will have the death penalty for murderers and killers, and also for drug kingpins and dealers who can be proven to have killed people through the dealing of their drugs, of which many, a drug dealer kills on average 500 people during his or her lifetime. 500. That's an average 500 people. They kill 500. If you shoot somebody, you pay a very stiff penalty. They kill 500 people. In China, when I met with President Xi the first time, because I had a great relationship with him until COVID. Once COVID came in, it was like, I'd forget it. But I had a great relationship. I said, President, do you have a drug problem? No. He didn't even know what I was talking about. No. Of course not. Why would we have a drug problem? I said, so what do you attribute the fact that you don't have a drug? Because they used to have a massive drug problem. The poppy. They used to have a massive, the whole country. It was a disaster. And then Mao came in and changed things around. But this is a tough man and a very smart man. I said, so why don't you have a drug problem? We have quick trial means not a trial where you go on trial 28 years from now. The constitutionality, we have quick trial. What's quick trial? Quick trial is we try the people immediately. And if they're guilty, they're given the death penalty. And because of that, if they're guilty, they're given the death penalty. They don't have a drug problem. 1.4 billion people, and they haven't got a drug problem. And we have to do the same thing because our country is being poisoned. Our families are being destroyed. We will also pursue the death penalty for those who murder policemen and policewomen. We have to. You ever see where they walk up to a car where a policeman's sitting in a car and they take a gun and shoot him through the window, right through the window? We will do that, the death penalty, kill a policeman or a policewoman. I will immediately sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content on our children. And I will also support parents' rights. Can you believe you have to say this? I say this all the time. Can you believe that you have to say that we will support parents' rights? Parents' rights, who wouldn't support? But our country over the last 12, 13, 14 years has gone cuckoo. It got a little bit cuckoo. Can you imagine you're saying, I will support parents' rights? Of course you're going to support. Who wouldn't support parents' rights? A lot of the people in our leadership wouldn't support it. But we're going to include the direct election of school principals by the parents. We want the principals not to be hired because they're radical left lunatics. If any principal is not getting the job done, the parents should be able to vote to fire them and to select somebody who will get the job done. And I will not give 1 penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or a mask mandate from kindergarten all the way through college. And here's another beauty out of women's sports. I don't know if you saw the weightlifting recently, but this was a record that was standing for like 19 years. And, they deal in ounces. They had an ounce on one side, an ounce on the other. Get up there. And this record, a long time record, years, 19 years. And, these women are great athletes. They're out there trying so hard. And all of a sudden, this guy comes up lifting. Have you lifted before? No, actually, I haven't. No, the records are being set at a level that women never really thought was going to happen. It's so unfair, and it's so demeaning to women. Men should not be able to participate in women's sports. And I will sign a law prohibiting child sexual mutilation in all 50 states. Thank you. I will appoint rock-solid, constitutional, conservative judges in the mold of Justice Antonin Scalia and the great Justice Clarence Thomas, who is under siege right now. He's under siege right now for doing nothing. He is really, they're going after him right now. Everybody else talked about appointing conservatives to court. I am the only one who actually did it. I appointed almost 300 federal judges. All told, it was pretty substantially more than that, a record, and 3 great Supreme Court justices. So that was a big thing. Some presidents go through a long period of time and they never get to appoint. I appointed 3. That made the radical left extremely thrilled. Trump gets 3. Other people, they get none. But we got 3 great, wonderful people. Finally, I will move.
Russian started completely out. So better, you have to destroy them before you can build back better. So we're destroyed now. I mean, it's left versus right, white versus black. I mean, the sad thing is that progressives, the progressive left, are now the centrist right because the left is known so far that you either have to be a Marxist like AOC or a centrist libertarian, almost like Elon Musk. So that's why we're going to start taking this year, 2024. When nobody needs to Trump on the website, there's going to be a lot of centrist left, like
Because he's going to do it, when he'll pull the trigger. Do you know what I mean? Because Trump is like that. He's got to be Trump. He'll either stand on his word forever, or one day, unexpectedly, he shows up on Twitter and all hell will break loose. It will. But I don't think people are going to, not vote because he's not here or none of that. In Florida, the last event that I went, it was raining, cats and dogs, and you can Google that. That was in the where they have the Dade County Youth Fair here, and where they have the gun show too. Let me tell you something. That night it started raining. Do you think anybody there, including Trump, left? No. There was lightning, guys. Lightning. And the president was standing there. Well, I said the president because he's my president. Standing there in the freaking rain with thunder, and everybody kept screaming, "We love Trump. We love Trump." I mean, this man's not afraid, and his followers are there 101%. So I'm not concerned about that. I mean, after seeing that in the rain with the thunder, knowing that lightning can hit you, nah, we're not going anywhere. So don't be afraid of that. But I think he might just do it. I think Elon and him might have a surprise for us. Who knows? I want to think that. Love you. And now I can hear.
Yeah, I was waiting for Phenom, but he's just keeping his powder dry. He's going to come back, and it's going to be his first tweet back will be the most liked tweet in the history of Twitter, and probably the most retweeted. So he's just waiting for a special occasion. Right now, he's really high in the polls. He's stretching his legs. He doesn't have to pull out the big guns yet. He'll save it for the right moment. One thing Trump is a great marketer.
Great chess player too.
I was away for a moment, but did anyone mention his exclusivity deal with Truth Social?
Yeah, I think that's up already.
Okay.
He had a non-compete for 18 months, but I think that just got over in January or December.
I thought I heard it went through June, but that's what I was thinking. So maybe I'm wrong on that, but
yeah, I may be wrong too. I see Gail Golic's up here. What do you have to say, Gail?
Hi. Oh, well, I'm just checking in, getting ready to do my own space here, and I know Phenom's gonna help me co-host, so I wanted to just kind of see where she was and what you guys are talking about and listen in, and but I'm gonna have.
Oh, okay. No, I will definitely follow you there. I did not know if we were going to turn this one in, so when you open that up, just let us know.
Yeah, I just messaged you. I was like, I didn't know if you wanted to, you wanted to host, you wanted to start it. I can start it either way. I just was trying to figure out where we wanted to go with this. We're gonna start.
Yeah, I'm happy to. Okay, great. We'll bring everybody over.
Okay, all right. I'll set it up. But we're gonna have, if you haven't seen anything about John Thaler and the warranting deeds and the Thaler Project. We're going to have Jim Wilby. I don't remember his name now. Oh my gosh, I got to look up his name again. My bad. But anyway, he's with Project Thaler, and a lot of people have a lot of questions about these deeds. They're wondering, how, if they're real, if they're legit, what's going on with them, and then, how does that make a difference? Why, as far as why does it matter? And in this regard, it matters because these deeds are being put into a recorder's office through the back door, and the back door is open to the same office that our elections are recording their data. And so this is really important that we don't let this die. I mean, people want to talk about the fact that his history or whatever, but the bottom line is that these deeds have been recorded. They are real. They are there, and they have been forged. And we just need to get a better, clear understanding on that. And then I just really want to talk more about what we can do from here going forward in elections as well. And probably talk a little bit more about the Help America Vote Act because it's really important. And if you don't know what that is, it's a federal act that gives the states guidance as to, well, no, not guidance, minimum requirements as to what they need to do if they want to use the machines. So pretty good stuff coming up, and I'm looking forward to it.
Guys, make sure you click
So
on Gail's pretty red coat right now, pretty red jacket, and make sure you guys are following her, and then we'll just move over there, Gail, when you're ready.
Okay, and yeah, and the other thing is that if you guys, when you go to my Twitter today, it's pretty. I've been dropping some great stuff today, and we'll probably talk a little bit about Liz Harris and what happened there. But I dropped my Truth Tellers Town Hall video, and if you haven't seen it, which most people have not, you really should. It's about 3.5 minutes long, I believe, but it's all of the people, many of the people that worked the audit. They were under NDAs, and so they couldn't talk. Well, once they got off of the NDAs, I held this Truth Tellers Town Hall, and everybody was talking about what they saw while they were auditing, like batches and batches of Biden ballots in a row, or boxes of mail-in ballots that were not even folded. All of these things that you're not going to hear. Oh, you're an election denier. You're a conspiracy theorist. These people worked the audit. They gave their days, their nights, their lives to making sure that hopefully things like this would not happen in the future. And here we are, 3 years later, and really no better off. I mean, just a lot more exposed, but we still haven't got a handle on it yet. But we're getting there because it's just becoming more exposed. So take a look at the Truth Tellers Town Hall and share that, please.
hey,
Yes,
Gail,
sir.
the deed thing you brought up, was that about the testimony that was Liz Harris brought up in the Senate or in the House?
Exactly. I tried to get Liz on tonight. She's got another meeting as well, so she couldn't make it. But we'll get her on as well again. But yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'd like to hear more about the audit too. I spent $10,000 out there hoping that it was going to get results, and I'm still upset about
You
it.
should be, actually, because we could talk about that. I mean, I could tell you so many stories about that, but yeah, there was a huge cover up in this audit, and it started from day one, and it will, and it's still going on to this day, to be honest with you. Not all the information is out there. A lot of the same players that were, the players, I'm not going to call them players, traitors, that were involved in the cover up are still a part of the scene. And so, but we are, again, it's about exposing. And so that's why I posted that Truth Tellers Town Hall video, because we need people to understand, like, these are just regular American citizens just talking about what happened, and our legislatures are doing nothing, and they're so corrupt, and it's disheartening in a lot of ways, but we have ways to fight back, and that's what I want to share.
So where can we find that video?
Just go to my Twitter feed today. I just posted it. Just follow me and just go to my Twitter feed today, and you'll see it for the Truth Tellers Town Hall. And then I have they're on Rumble, but this was filmed on November 7th, 2021. So I felt like, it was just really important to just bring this back out again, because so many people, I wasn't even on Twitter November 7th, I don't think, back then. So,
Oh, I've seen it then. I've been following you since the whole election thing.
Oh,
So
thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I followed you on Telegram.
Okay.
So
Okay.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yep.
So I'm going to set that up right now. Thank you.
Okay, Gail, we will see you
See you
soon.
soon.
It'll be a good one.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, guys, so we will have some great election talk when Gail gets her space going. So I'd love everyone to join us over there if you want. Until then, let's keep going on MAGA. Does anyone have what critiques do you have about today? I'd be curious to hear. I think Adam mentioned he wants better clarification regarding the death penalty for the drug cartel. And I can't really argue with that. Like I feel like I totally get it in on the context, but media and stuff doesn't always understand nuance. So definitely communication is important to be very clear. What do you think, Jason? Your hands up.
Yeah. Something I would really like to hear him talk about that I don't think he talks about enough is the debt. It's coming hard, and it's going to cost us so much, and it's going to cost our kids so much. I think that he needs to focus some amount of attention on the debt. I know his brain's probably thinking, get us energy dominant and make money that way, but I would like him to address the debt. That's the only problem that I see is I would like to see a little bit more focus on the debt.
Good points. Good points. I think that he is. I think he's got some an agenda 47 that talks about the economy and the debt. I would like some clarification on something as well. From what I understand, you have to have a certain vote. Like I can't remember what it is, but in the Senate for something to be able to be vetoed, I think there's certain like unanimous and such that can't be vetoed. Can anyone clarify on that for me?
I believe you need 2/3 vote from the Senate to
Correct.
override a veto.
But I mean, does the okay, so right, okay, so that is why. So that it had been a while since I thought about it. But when they talk about the COVID spending bill, I
Yeah, it was
remember
veto
learn.
proof. It was veto
Yeah,
proof. Yeah.
yeah, right, exactly. And so that's where I'm really upset about Massey. Massey has been going hard on Trump about that bill, especially when he came around the time to go with DeSantis. And I just feel like it's so, I'm fine with people being against or for a candidate. I just wish they would do it honestly. Because with the votes that bipartisan bill had, like there was no way to veto it.
Well, they're mad at him for not for talking about saying it's state rights for abortion, and he's done more for abortion than anybody in history by getting the 3 justices appointed.
Yeah, but the general public should be dumb. But Thomas Massey, who was always one of my favorite, and I like him a lot. But I just think that's so disingenuous for him to say that when it's easy to stand up on a veto-proof bill and be like, "Hey, I'm not voting for this," when you know that you're not going to make any difference. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just like the absolute virtue signaling that we put the left down for.
In an election year with a 100-year pandemic, he was forced. His hand was forced in that, no matter what. And I always tell people to look. You have to, as a president, you have to make decisions that you may not want to make, but in that position, he's knowing that he needs to win the election because he knew that everything he predicted Biden would do, he's done. So a lot of those decisions he had to make for his political future in a way that he knew what was going to happen if he didn't.
Thank you for that, Jason. Let's see if Fly girl, your hand's not up, but I see you up here. Do you want to jump in?
I'm sorry, were you talking to me?
Yeah, I see you up here as a speaker, so I wanted to give you a chance to take your turn.
Oh, I didn't have any. Did I raise my hand? I apologize. I didn't have anything to say.
Oh, somebody brought you up as a speaker, so I apologize. I'm not sure how that happened.
No worries. Thank you. I'm enjoying listening.
Great. Yes, so that's something that we're going to have the Twitter troops, get that message out better that Trump could not have fired Fauci. It just was not possible. He didn't have the authority to do that, and he could not have vetoed that spending bill. So I'm just tired of that. So everybody watch for that, especially from Massey, because the average person might not know, but Thomas Massey, who again is one of my favorite members on the Hill, knows better than that. And that's just dirty. Like, go after somebody for something that they really did, but otherwise that's just kind of dirty.
Hey, Phenom, what was the name of that act? I'm going to make positive before we start spreading it. I want to look it up.
I don't have it in front of me right now, and every time I try to leave this page, I get kicked out.
No, I was talking. What was the name of the first bill that they passed for COVID?
I'm sorry, I don't have that handily available.
Okay, I'll look it up. I just want to make sure before I definitively say I'm recollecting, and I want to make sure that I'm recollecting correctly.
Yeah, thank you. But I've seen it several places. I just wasn't sure. So it looks like Bud Light made some management changes. Todd Allen appointed to VP of Bud Light. Thank you to who just posted this? Greg. Thanks for. It says Anheuser-Busch has shared a statement with BBD on management changes in the wake of the Dylan Mulvaney can controversy. Former Bud Light marketing VP Alyssa Hernscheid, who was at that post for not quite a year, is off the brand. We understand she has decided to take a leave of absence, so they probably threatened her. Todd Allen is now VP of Bud Light, reporting directly to CMO Benoit Garb. It appears Todd was most recently VP of Global Marketing for Budweiser. Today we communicate some next steps with our internal teams and wholesale partners. First, we made it clear that the safety and welfare of our employees and our partners is our top priority. Secondly, Todd Allen is appointed to VP of Bud Light, reporting directly to Benoit Garb, U.S. Chief Marketing Officer. Third, we've made some adjustments to streamline the structure of our marketing function to reduce layers so our most senior marketers are more closely connected to every aspect of our brand activities. These steps will help us maintain focus on the things we do best, brewing great beer for all consumers while always making a positive impact on our communities and on our country. That's interesting. Okay, Fly Girl, I'm going to bring you back up again.
The question, am I able to ask a question that's off topic?
Yeah, sure.
My question is about the information on the. I understand that there is a bill that's going to be passed. Sorry, I'm trying to get some background music to turn off. There's supposed to be some bill that's supposed to be passed that regarding mortgages. Have you guys heard that? And that those with a credit score of 720 or higher is going to be having to pay an extra 1%, and if you have a below 720 score, you get a 1.75% discount. Has anybody heard that?
Yeah, so it's not a bill, it's an executive order. And it's basically if you have a FICO score of 620, you get a discount on your mortgage. If you have above 740 or 50, you pay 1% more. So you get almost 2% discount if you have a FICO below 620.
And my question is, what has this order already gone into effect, and I'm assuming this can only be for new mortgages since there's no documentation on like the paperwork that I signed when I got my mortgage that had anything like that, and I don't think that they can renegotiate a contract that I currently have.
That is a really good question. I don't know the answer to those. I mean, this is the problem when we have government involved with any kind of banking. I mean, an example I was talking about yesterday is like, let's say we talk about how just grossly high the cost of college tuition is, but yet there's no incentive for them because most of that is done through not only government subsidized student loans and even grants. So basically, the government is saying, okay, oh, it's going to be $120,000 a year to go to this college. Okay, no problem. We're going to, subsidize a loan for that. So I don't know how, these new mortgage rules are. I don't know how they're legal because I guess a private company can do whatever they want. I don't know, I don't know how they can change a contract that you've made on a mortgage, but this is the government, so I'm not really sure. Welcome, Charles. Do you have any thoughts about Biden's new mortgage rule?
I'm actually just parsing it and reading through it right now. I just got home. I was down in Florida for a few days, so I apologize last night if I was a little rubber bandy and annoying. But yeah, it's definitely interesting. I'm just trying to figure out like the semantics of it. So
yeah, it's just all I know is that if you have a under 620 FICO score, you get a 1.75% discount. If you have over 740, you have a 1% increase.
So then there's nothing but an incentive for everybody to not pay their bills, get their credit score lowered, and get a better mortgage.
Yeah, I mean, what's next? Basic income, so that way we're all taxpayers are basically paying all of their mortgage.
I mean, I don't know how many different kinds of reparations we're paying. I mean, this is just another form of reparations that they're putting it through the system.
Thank you, Obama.
It kind of reminds me of the affirmative action measures where like Asian students actually get points taken away and we're like incentivizing it. It's quite silly. And at the end of the day, that's what I'm curious about, because you have private companies that now are going to inherit more liability and risk. So like, is the government stepping in and taking on and backing, like asset backing these mortgages? Are they backing the risk like what they did in the last, like basically this is a recipe for what created the last real estate crisis, so are we just doing the same thing on purpose? It doesn't seem to make any sense.
And is this going to be regulated on a federal level, or is this going to be individual banks choosing to do this?
I'll just jump in here. I think being a Californian, I've seen crazy executive orders, at the state level. But one thing that's going to happen to this is probably going to get taken to the courts, and eventually is going to get defeated because I don't think the president can do this. Just the same thing that we saw in California all through along. But why they do this is it allows them to start implementing some of these to a point and then get some things done. And then by the time the courts decide on it, then they can be, at least they got something done. They scratched the surface, so they learned something from the process. It's not mean that they're going to give it up. They're just going to keep trying. Well, that's how I see that. Just to pivot back a little bit, Phenom, I think the bill that you were talking about was the CARES Act. I put it up in the nest. It was signed on March 27th, 2020. And the veto proof, it was unanimously passed by the Senate and almost unanimously passed by the House. I know there were a few holdouts from passing that bill, obviously from the House, but the Senate was unanimous on that one. Yes, there's some literature when it comes to veto-proof majorities and all that, but it's just a procedural thing to pass a bill. The president can still veto a veto-proof bill, but it has to go back to Congress. Congress can either make the changes that the president wants, or Congress can override that veto if they have that the 2/3 of the vote. Or the president can also veto a bill by pocket vetoing the bill. That is, they just put it away, wait until 10 days, and then that bill kind of expires, and then it has to go back into committees again and all that. So that's just a little TLDR on that one.
Yeah, I
Thank
was
you.
just reading it. You're right.
And it looks like from the way they're explaining this is that's the fee structure. So a higher credit borrower is going to have more fees, which are directly going to correlate to the payment structure of the more risky lending mortgages. So it's communism, basically, I guess. Is that, I mean, it's quite silly.
Yeah, the Marxist assault on America is never ending. So you just have to understand that that's just what it is.
And I'm wondering how this is going, like, because I'm reading and it says it's going to be, they're basically trying to tackle, they're trying to create a more equitable FICO system. You know what I mean? So the plan looks like not only to have banks take on more risk with more risky lending practices, but also change the way that we keep track of good borrowers also, which is just weird. But I'm going through it now. I should have a better idea here.
What is this legislation that's definitely going to be signed? I mean, is this already there and pretty much waiting for the signature?
It's an executive order, not a bill.
Oh, I'm sorry, you did say that before. I stand corrected.
No, you don't need to be sorry. It's just, it raises more questions in my mind because I don't know what can be done. I'll just admit that I don't know if people disagree with an executive order. I don't really know what the options are.
Well, the
So
initial options with a disagreement with executive orders, they usually just find a judge at the federal level just to put a kibosh on it. So I wouldn't be surprised in the next couple of days before, because I think this goes into effect in May. I wouldn't be surprised before May that you hear that a judge has put a stay on the Biden executive order on this. Like, I would not be surprised in the next 10 days if we get that ruling. So keep on the lookout for that. But I see this going up to the courts because this is not what a president can do.
Well, wouldn't the Congressional Review Act take this into play, because it looks like it's the Federal Housing Finance Agency, so it is an agency. So I'm wondering before courts, like if this is a congressional oversight thing with the Federal Review Act, you know what I mean? Because this is an agency, intending for a change. But yeah, the FHFA is responsible for regulating the Federal Home Loan Bank System, which provides funding and liquidity to member banks and thrifts to support housing finance and community investment. Ironically, it was actually created. It was created by the Housing and Economic Recovery Act of 2018. So they created this agency in the wake of the last financial crisis, which was created by derivatives of risky mortgages, which now they're doing the same thing. The only thing is, instead of banks taking the liability, they're going to make high credit borrowers pay extra fees to back these risky assets. It's like, does anybody read this stuff?
The same borrowers, they're trying to put out of work, right? And now trying to force them to go take up housing mortgages as well. This is all insane.
if I can jump in here real quick, I have experience in the mortgage industry. The way they're able to do this, or the way they do this, is through controlling the funding through Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. So you get your mortgage from whatever company you do. They then sell that to Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, but it has to meet the requirements that they set. If they don't meet the requirements, then the bank can't sell it, and they don't have that money to start a new loan. So they do that through the funding source. And That's absolutely what caused the '08 crash. Is the requirements put in through Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, and that's what they're looking at here. So it's not the bank that's actually taking on the extra risk because they're selling that straight to the NGOs of Fannie and Freddie. So that's how they're able to do this, and I think that's why it doesn't require congressional approval, because the banks aren't required to sell their loans, but they choose to so they can get additional funding to make new loans.
I'm wondering though, because it is an agency change, if it falls under the Congressional Review Act, which means like, I believe it's 60 legislative days to like disprove or investigate a regulation after it's been published to the Federal Register. So I would think because this is an agency and an agency rule, right? I don't think it is an executive order. It's an agency rule, I guess, precipitated by the Biden administration.
So I don't have an answer to that specifically, but they are NGOs. So I'm not sure if that makes a difference on how their rules are interpreted or governed.
Yeah, it's just so interesting how like this is literally, just like you said, the '08 mortgage crisis was a subprime mortgage crisis, basically risky assets. Anyone and their mother could get a mortgage for 5 different houses because you had these brokers making insane fees, and the government was coming in saying, hey, we're going to back all these risky assets. And this is basically the same exact thing in the name of equity. And
it's different. Is the bill for FHA? Sorry to butt in. It's for FHA loans, right? Federal Housing Authority, which goes to Ginnie Mae. It doesn't go to Freddie or Fannie. Freddie or Fannie typically goes for conventional loans. So if you typically have 20% to put down on a home, you're going to get a conventional loan. If you're a first-time home buyer, that's what FHA loans are made for. Some of them are no down payment. Some of them are 3%. Some of them are 10%. And FHA it gets you a good rate. It helps first-time home buyers, and they've always had a fee. The fees have been different rates throughout the entire mortgage history. And just to tell you, like, to back it, if you're already locked in on a rate, it's not going to change on you. It's locked. At least, I mean, I don't know if Biden's changing everything, but it sounds like it's FHA that's changing their fee. I've never seen.
Well, I just looked at it, and it says it does apply to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which, again, that's like 60% or 70% of the mortgage market, right?
Well, it depends. Most first-time home buyers only have 3 or 10% to put down, not 20%. So that's typically what it goes towards. Fannie Mae,
I don't see where this is just FHA.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. That was my question. I haven't read it. The Federal Housing Administration.
No, so I think that's why it's confusing, is because it's a rule change by the FHFA, which is the Federal Housing Finance Agency, that will apply to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac.
So it will apply to them. That's crap.
That's what I'm reading. I could be wrong. I'm not licensed in equities, but not mortgages. But I'm curious myself. That's why I'm kind of.
Yeah, FHA loans have always had a fee applied, and it's typically based on whatever, like, it's your mortgage amount, and it's like I don't know, like it used to be like 0.85% of whatever the mortgage amount was, and then the government would change it occasionally. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down, and so that's what, based on what you were saying, I was thinking it was only the FHA loans that were changing to that. Freddie and Fannie may purchase FHA. They may. So, but I guess my bigger question is if it's going more towards a conventional loan or FHA. Because if you have a down payment of 20% or more and it's conventional, it won't affect you. If it's not geared towards conventional loans and only geared towards the FHA, because the FHA loans, they always have it's called an FHA fee. They always put, like, you have to pay every single month a fee. It's added into your mortgage, and it goes to a fund, and that's because it's for riskier borrowers, i.e. first-time homeowners.
Right. So
don't have 20% to put down.
enact changes to fees known as loan level price adjustments, LLPAs, on May 1st that will affect mortgages originating at private banks nationwide from Wells Fargo to JP Morgan Chase, effectively tweaking interest rates paid by the vast majority of home buyers. David Stern says it's unprecedented. He served as the Federal Housing Administration Commissioner during Obama. He says, my email is full from mortgage companies and CEOs telling me how unbelievably shocked they are by this move. Under the new rules, high credit buyers with scores ranging from 680 to above 780 will see a spike in their mortgage costs, with applicants who place 15 to 20% down payment experiences the biggest increase in fees. As you just noted, a new home buyer is probably more like 1 to 3%. Under the revised LLP,
But it doesn't go to 20%?
Well, the fees are going to apply to 15 to 20% down payment. The
Okay.
highest fees will be
Yeah,
for
because
people.
typically if you have a 20% down payment, you'll flip to a conventional loan, which has a better rate. Well, the
Right.
rates may be better or worse, but the anyway, you can't get into a conventional unless you put down, generally, there's other programs, but in general speak, you can't get into a conventional loan unless you have 20% down, and they typically have better rates.
Yeah.
But
So,
sometimes FHA can get
and
you a better rate, but you have a government fee. So if you add
if
on that
if I
government
may,
fee,
Right.
the
if
rate,
I may jump in,
yeah.
this is why I think the confusion here, right? This is just us talking. There's like 112 of us in here. This is why I think this is probably going to end up somewhere in the courts, so they can flesh this out so people actually understand what they're doing. But for the sake of the space, I know this space is going to run down here when Phenom tells us to, because we're going to go support Gail's space. But if you're coming in here, we're talking about it's basically the after party for Trump's Lee County, Florida speech today. So please, get back to hands. Tell us what you liked about the speech, or tell us what you think Trump that wasn't so strong on in his communication during this speech. So let's just get back to that. I liked the fact that what people have to understand is that there are organizations, there are people in the GOP, the House GOP, purport to be like MAGA movements, and they are fake and they are frauds. And like, if people can't see that and don't get behind Trump, and any organization or any person who does not totally support Trump, they are against.
So did they allow? Are they gonna put Preston back
Well, I
on
don't
the
I don't
speaker
know I
staff?
don't know because whenever this Tyler Bauer character, whatever he is, whoever he is, he's like, I'm part of the 501c4. I'm not part of the 501c3. I'm sure he's a proxy for Kirk because I keep challenging Kirk and he won't show up to even deal with any direct questions. They said he can go back on. He was all excited to go back on. And so, what these people have to understand, like, I'm 50 years old and some people in here are probably older than me, younger than me. Who gives a fuck about what Charlie Kirk thinks or what TPUSA thinks? Okay. Cancel them. Don't worry about whether you're being canceled. Like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. These people have done nothing to help January 6th. They've done nothing to help, the right of self-defense until after somebody gets acquitted. These people are fraught. And, and then when you go on to talk and they want you on, then when you start to talk, they bring you down to the listener status while you're getting bashed by name, and they won't let you talk. So it's like they're upset about free speech and censorship, but when you go on there and you talk and you don't say what they like, and then Tyler Bauer comes on behalf of Charlie Kirk, because Charlie Kirk's a coward, and then you try to say something, they put you down to listener status and you get bashed by name and you can't be brought up. So, it's a joke. Like, that's why I come on this space, because you let everybody talk. But these people like Charlie Kirk and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Kevin McCarthy are frauds. They will not release January 6 tapes. They will not help these defendants. They will not, they want to increase the debt ceiling by $1.5 trillion. They will not send out January 6 subpoenas. They are fake. They are frauds. And, they got to be called out on it. So, that's it.
Well, the best thing to do when an organization doesn't do what we want it to do is to start parallel organizations. I guess. I hope that we need more we need more Gen Z and youth organizations.
Who fucking cares? Maybe I'm like too many decades older than everyone on here, but who cares? Like, these people are fake. They're trying to play all fake. And all that matters.
I'm surprised that you wouldn't go. Like, Charlie calls out, if we do want to do something in the schools, I mean, isn't that a good venue? I don't know the details of what happened or any of.
I mean, like, seriously, like,
I was on the space. If you want to know what happened,
yeah, I have no idea. I don't know.
I was on the space, and John, before I speak, I want to say that like I think what you do for the J6ers is awesome. I'm friends, and you represent Ryan, so I don't think anything bad about you. But I was listening to the space, and they did put you.
Not because they would not.
I get it, and not that they weren't letting you speak. I think they wanted to hear what he had to say for David Parr.
And they're asked direct fucking question. I'm sorry for the language. It's not directed at you, Gene, but direct questions about what their organization did to defame me, to try to destroy me, after I saved a fucking child's life and saved the right of self-defense, and then swooped in and ousted me and then trotted him around like a show pony and got him to file a bar complaint against me, okay? And they bring on their 501c4 guy who's not their 501c3 guy because Charlie Kirk is a coward and won't address me directly, won't show up in the villages like the Villages for Trump asked him to, and spouts propaganda and won't answer the question and acts like, hey, Preston, like, it's a big organization. And like, there's lots of times when like we have orgies in like the Marifest. And so, it shouldn't be blamed on me because, it's a big organization. That is propaganda. And like, I refuse to just sit there and let somebody say that shit because it's happened to me for 5 or 6 fucking years. Okay. And for it to happen on a space where a kid is acting like he's upset with Turning Point USA, and then when the 501c4 guy comes on instead of the 501c3 guy, he's like all excited. And he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. It's all good. Like, let's make up." That's bullshit, and like I just can't take it anymore.
Yeah, I can feel your frustration, John. Honestly, I see exactly what you're talking about. It's like